Imagine waking up tomorrow and Google doesn't load. Instagram is gone. Your bank app fails. This isn't fiction. It almost happened, and almost nobody knows. We treat the internet like it's an invisible, indestructible atmosphere, a mystical cloud floating above our heads that just works. But what is the internet actually? Strip away the apps and the Wi-Fi signals. The internet is just a physical chain of connected computers, giant server warehouses, thousands of kilometers of underground fiber cable, and long glass threads lying completely exposed on the floor of the ocean, carrying almost 99% of all the world's transoceanic data. But a physical network is useless without a way to guide information through it. So the internet relies on a system called BGP, the Border Gateway Protocol. Understanding BGP is the key to understanding everything in this video. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine every city in the world trying to deliver mail to one another. Instead of a central government managing the routes, the cities use a shortcut. They agree on delivery paths simply by trusting each other's word, with absolutely no verification. If City A claims it has built a brand new lightning-fast highway directly to City B, every other city in the world instantly updates its maps and starts sending mail through City A. They don't check if the highway is real. They don't ask for proof. That blind automatic trust is BGP, the entire foundational logic of the global internet. It works remarkably well most of the time. BGP was designed in 1989 by two engineers sketching ideas on napkins over lunch, and it has scaled to connect billions of devices in ways its creators never imagined. It's one of the most impressive feats of cooperative engineering in human history. But it has one profound weakness. It was built for a smaller, more trusting world, and it has never had a proper verification system, which means the entire grid is, technically, always one misconfiguration away from chaos. 3 times in modern history, we found out just how close that chaos really is. The first vulnerability is the most physical. In early 2008, near the coast of Egypt, 2 massive undersea fiber optic cables were severed within days of each other. It wasn't a sophisticated cyber weapon that did it. It was 2 ships dragging heavy anchors across the seabed in the wrong place. The result was immediate. Over 75 million people across Egypt, India, and the Middle East lost significant internet access almost instantly. Financial transactions failed. International businesses lost communication. Airports stalled. And it took weeks to repair. What made this so striking wasn't the scale, it was the cause. 2 accidents, 2 ships, and a quarter of the planet's connectivity went dark. Today there are roughly 500 active undersea cables carrying the world's internet traffic. They're about the diameter of a garden hose in their thinnest sections, running along the ocean floor largely unguarded. The 2008 incident was a wake-up call about a vulnerability that had always been there, but that most of the world had never had reason to think about. The second incident cuts much closer to the heart of how the internet works. On the morning of April 8, 2010, a network engineer in the United States stared at his monitoring dashboard and saw something that shouldn't be possible. Data meant for American corporate and government networks was vanishing and reappearing thousands of miles away. Nobody had been hacked. No alarm had gone off. The internet had simply rerouted itself, quietly, automatically. Here's what happened. China Telecom, one of the world's largest telecommunications companies, began broadcasting a BGP route announcement, telling routers around the globe that the fastest path to thousands of IP address blocks was through them. This kind of announcement happens millions of times a day. It's completely normal, but this one was incorrect. Many of those IP blocks didn't belong to China Telecom. Because BGP operates on trust, the global network believed it instantly. Within minutes, roughly 15% of the world's internet traffic had been silently redirected, including data from major corporations, financial institutions, and government networks. 18 minutes later, it stopped. The incorrect routes were withdrawn, traffic returned to normal, and to the average user, nothing had happened at all. Investigations followed. But whether this was an accidental misconfiguration or something else was never definitively answered publicly. What every engineer agreed on was the implication. The architecture carrying the world's data has no automatic mechanism to prevent this from happening again. No real-time detection, no automatic reversal. A fix does exist, a system called RPKY that adds cryptographic verification to route announcements. It was developed years ago, but adoption across the global network is still incomplete today, and a significant portion of internet traffic still travels without it. The third vulnerability sits at a different layer entirely. When you type a web address into your browser, your device doesn't actually know where that website lives. It has to look it up, sending a query to something called the Domain Name System, or DNS. Think of it as the internet's phone book. It translates the address you typed into a numerical IP address your device can actually use. This happens billions of times per second. It's instant, invisible, and almost everything online depends on it. In October 2016, a company called DIN, one of the world's largest DNS providers, was hit with an attack that showed exactly how critical that phone book really is. Rather than hacking into DIN systems, the attackers simply flooded them with so much artificial traffic that the servers couldn't respond to real requests. The weapon they used was a piece of malware called Mirai, which worked by quietly infecting millions of poorly secured smart devices, routers, security cameras, baby monitors, anything with a weak default password. It linked them together and pointed them all at DIN simultaneously. The result? Amazon, Netflix, Twitter, Reddit, and Spotify disappeared from the web for hours across large parts of North America and Europe, not because those companies were breached, simply because their phone book was overwhelmed. The Mirai attack changed how the security community thought about infrastructure risk. The threat wasn't only from sophisticated intrusions, it was from the billions of cheap connected devices already in our homes, most of which had never been updated, never been secured, and never been thought of as a potential weapon. So where does that leave us? The internet is, by any measure, one of the most extraordinary things human beings have ever built. A voluntary cooperative network connecting billions of people, running on shared protocols and mutual trust, with no central authority, scaling in ways nobody fully predicted. That cooperative spirit is remarkable, and it's also the source of its fragility. BGP still runs largely on trust. The ocean floor still carries most of the world's data through cables thinner than your wrist, and billions of connected devices are still shipped with weak default security. The internet didn't break in 2008 or 2010 or 2016, but it blinked 3 times. And each time, it served as a reminder that the grid we depend on for nearly everything, communication, commerce, medicine, daily life, isn't a permanent fixture of reality. It's a machine, an extraordinary one, but a machine that needs our attention to keep running. It served as a chilling reminder. The internet is a fragile machine, and it can be turned off.